Welcome to the CompTIA A+ Prepcast presented by baremetalcyber.com. Workstations represent one of the most frequently targeted components in any networked environment. As the primary access point for most users, they serve as the front line between internal systems and potential external threats. A compromised workstation can lead to wider infiltration, data theft, or disruption of services. For this reason, securing individual workstations is not just a best practice. It is a fundamental requirement for any effective security posture. The A+ certification covers a range of measures that span physical protections, software configurations, and user account controls. These localized defenses contribute directly to the broader organizational strategy of minimizing risk and maintaining system integrity. One of the first lines of defense on a workstation is the user password. Strong passwords reduce the chance of unauthorized access, especially in environments where systems may be left unattended or exposed to remote login attempts. Effective passwords are long, complex, and changed regularly. They should not include easily guessable words, repeated characters, or predictable patterns such as 123 or QWERTY. Password policies that enforce minimum length, character requirements, and expiration schedules can be configured through local security policy on standalone machines or group policy in enterprise environments. These enforcement tools ensure consistency and help protect against weak user behavior. Screen locking after periods of inactivity is another simple but critical safeguard. When a user steps away from their desk without locking the system, anyone nearby can potentially access sensitive files or execute unauthorized actions. By enforcing automatic screen locks after a defined idle time, organizations reduce the risk of walk-up access. Users must then re-enter their password to resume work, creating a barrier against physical intrusion. Screen lock behavior can be customized through security settings and should be a default policy in any secure environment. Even in trusted offices, the habit of locking the screen when leaving the workstation should be reinforced through policy and training. Controlling account permissions is essential for managing what users can do on their systems. Standard user accounts should be used for all routine tasks, such as browsing the internet, using email, or working with office applications. Administrator accounts should be reserved strictly for tasks that require elevated privileges, such as installing software or configuring system settings. Separating these roles helps reduce the attack surface. If malware or malicious code is executed under a standard account, the impact is limited compared to what could occur under an administrator account. Role separation enforces the principle of least privilege, which is a core concept in workstation security. Guest accounts and unused user profiles pose another risk if left enabled. Guest accounts are intended for temporary or limited use access, but they often lack the restrictions and audit trails necessary for secure environments. Because they do not retain personalized settings and are difficult to monitor effectively, guest accounts can become blind spots in the security landscape. Similarly, accounts that are no longer in use, such as those belonging to former employees, should be promptly disabled or deleted. This prevents unauthorized reuse and helps maintain clean user directories. These practices enforce the principle of least privilege by ensuring that only active authorized users retain access. The Basic Input-Output System, or BIOS, and the Unified Extensible Firmware Interface, or UEFI, are low-level interfaces that control how the system starts. Protecting this layer of the workstation is vital because attackers with physical access could change boot order, disable security features, or install alternative operating systems. Setting a supervisor password in the BIOS or UEFI prevents unauthorized users from entering setup menus or making changes to the boot configuration. Some environments may also implement a boot password, requiring users to authenticate before the operating system even begins to load. These protections add a hardware-level barrier that complements software defenses. Full disk encryption is one of the most effective ways to protect data at rest. Tools like BitLocker on Windows or FileVault on macOS encrypt the entire storage drive, ensuring that the contents are inaccessible without proper authentication. If a laptop is lost or stolen, encrypted data cannot be retrieved simply by removing the hard drive and connecting it to another device. Encryption keys are often stored in the Trusted Platform Module, or TPM, but may also require a USB key or passphrase depending on policy. Full disk encryption should be standard for any workstation that stores or processes sensitive data. Controlling the types of software that can be installed or executed on a workstation helps prevent unauthorized or malicious applications from causing harm. Software restriction policies allow administrators to block games, peer-to-peer file-sharing clients, or other high-risk applications. These restrictions can be implemented through group policy in domain environments or via endpoint protection platforms that monitor software behavior. Restricting software by hash, path, or publisher certificate provides a flexible method of enforcement. These controls ensure that only approved and verified software is permitted to run, limiting exposure to both intentional misuse and accidental infections. Firewalls and antivirus tools are indispensable in workstation security, and they must be properly configured and maintained to be effective. The firewall controls which ports, applications, and services can send or receive data from the device, acting as a gatekeeper for network communication. Antivirus software scans files for known threats, detects suspicious activity, and quarantines malicious content before it can execute. Real-time protection ensures that new files are scanned as they arrive, while scheduled scans help detect dormant threats. Both tools should be updated regularly to stay current with the evolving threat landscape and ensure optimal protection at all times. For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are other prepcasts on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. Keeping the operating system and all installed applications up to date is one of the most effective ways to prevent exploitation. Security patches are released regularly by software vendors to address vulnerabilities discovered in the code. If these patches are not applied, systems remain exposed to known attacks that are already being exploited in the wild. Automatic updates should be enabled wherever practical, especially for systems that are not centrally managed. In enterprise environments, update deployment can be managed using tools like Windows Server Update Services or third-party patch management platforms. It is equally important to track and update third-party applications, as vulnerabilities in browser plugins, Office tools, and media players are commonly targeted. Disabling auto-run and autoplay features helps prevent malware from executing automatically when external media is connected. These features were once designed for convenience, allowing CDs or USB drives to launch installers or media files without user intervention. However, they also pose a serious security risk, as malicious programs can take advantage of these behaviors to spread without requiring user approval. Disabling auto-run policies via Group Policy or Control Panel prevents external devices from launching software automatically and ensures that users must explicitly choose to run a file. This adds a valuable layer of protection against threats introduced through removable media. Controlling application permissions further reduces the attack surface by ensuring that only authorized users can install or run software. Administrators should limit installation privileges to a small group of trusted individuals and review installed programs periodically to identify anything unauthorized. This helps prevent bloatware, adware, or outright malicious software from being installed by mistake. Tools such as software inventory reports and application whitelisting help maintain control over what is running on workstations. Enforcing clear boundaries on application usage ensures that workstations remain dedicated to their intended functions without unnecessary or insecure software cluttering the environment. Standardized system images are commonly used in professional environments to ensure consistency across all deployed workstations. A standard image includes a known good configuration with approved software, security settings, and operating system patches. When a new system is deployed, it receives the same image as other machines in the organization, ensuring that no unapproved settings or unknown variables are introduced. Imaging also makes it easier to recover from a compromise. If a system becomes corrupted or infected, it can be wiped and re-imaged to return it to a clean, functional state in minimal time. Standard images are an essential part of secure configuration management. To understand how these controls work together in practice, consider a scenario where a user reports frequent pop-ups and system slowdowns. A review of the system shows that an unauthorized application was installed, leading to the presence of adware. An antivirus scan identifies the software and removes it, but further investigation reveals that the user installed it without administrative approval. To prevent recurrence, a software restriction policy is applied to block similar applications from being executed. In some cases, the system may be re-imaged entirely to ensure that all traces of the unwanted software are removed and the workstation is restored to a secure state. Physical security measures complement digital defenses by protecting the actual device from theft or tampering. In office environments, cable locks can be attached to desks to prevent easy removal of laptops. Lockable desk drawers or equipment cabinets provide additional security for peripherals and storage devices. Privacy filters applied to screens help prevent shoulder surfing, especially in shared or public spaces. These measures are especially important in open office layouts, retail environments, or educational settings where devices may be used by multiple people or viewed by passers-by. A workstation cannot be secure if it is physically exposed to unauthorized individuals. Remote management tools allow administrators to configure and troubleshoot workstations over the network, but they must be secured to prevent abuse. Remote Desktop Protocol, or RDP, should only be enabled for authorized users and must be protected with strong passwords and multi-factor authentication. Connections should be encrypted using secure protocols, and remote access logs must be monitored for suspicious behavior. If remote access is not actively needed, it should be disabled to reduce the attack surface. When remote administration is necessary, policies should be in place to ensure that it is conducted securely and only when appropriate. Host-based intrusion prevention systems, or HIPS, provide an advanced layer of protection by analyzing system behavior and enforcing policies. These tools monitor activities such as file access, registry changes, or unusual network communication, and can block actions that appear suspicious or violate predefined rules. HIPS solutions are often part of broader endpoint protection platforms that combine antivirus, firewall, and behavioral monitoring. While antivirus focuses on known threats, HIPS is designed to detect and prevent zero-day attacks or insider threats that exhibit abnormal behavior. Deploying HIPS strengthens the defense in-depth strategy for individual workstations. User education plays a pivotal role in maintaining workstation security. Even with strong technical controls in place, careless or uninformed behavior can undermine the entire security posture. Users should be trained to lock their screens when stepping away, recognize phishing attempts, and avoid clicking on unknown links or attachments. They should also be encouraged to report suspicious activity or performance issues promptly. Regular awareness training helps reinforce good habits and ensures that users remain an active part of the security process. Security is not solely a technical challenge, it also relies on user participation and awareness. In conclusion, securing a workstation requires a multifaceted approach that includes physical safeguards, software controls, user behavior policies, and continuous maintenance. From password policies and encryption to application control and remote access security, each element plays a role in protecting the endpoint from compromise. Reviewing settings regularly, applying updates, and educating users are all ongoing responsibilities that help maintain a strong defense. The A+ exam frequently includes questions on workstation security, reflecting its importance in both individual and enterprise contexts. Understanding and applying these best practices prepares candidates for real-world support roles and reinforces the essential concepts of endpoint protection. Thank you for listening. Please visit baremetalcyber.com for more cybersecurity information, podcasts, books, and more.